Coming up, the situation at the U.S.-Mexico border.
Suspension of this vaccine in Europe.
All that and more today, Wednesday, March 17th. Good morning, Emerson. I'm Amog Matthews.
And I'm Danielle Finezza. Thanks for waking up with us on this sunny St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, Danielle. So unfortunately this morning we have some bad news. Last night there was a shooting in Atlanta and 8 people died in the span of 1 hour.
That's right, and not much is known about the victims at this time, but according to South Korea's foreign ministry, 4 of the victims are of Korean ethnicity.
Yep, and that's right. The shooting happened at 3 massage parlors. What's interesting is that 6 of the victims were of Asian descent and 7 of the victims were women.
So one of these shootings occurred at a spa in Cherokee County late yesterday afternoon, and that's about 30 miles northwest of Atlanta. The other were at 2 massage parlors across the street from each other in the city of Atlanta.
Wow. The good news is that the suspect has been taken into custody after a car chase. And while the motives of the attack are unclear, there's a lot of Asian hate happening throughout the country, especially with the coronavirus. Some people are calling it the China virus. And so one can wonder if there's a link between the two.
Right, and this is a developing story, so we'll have more information for you as we receive it.
Now we're going to our other top stories for the day. According to the Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, yesterday the U.S. reached the highest number of people apprehended at the U.S.-Mexico border in about 20 years. The secretary describes the scene as, quote, a difficult situation. Border officials have been expelling single adults at the border, but per Border and Customs Protection Law will not expel children. There's an average of 564 unaccompanied children crossing the border per day. Republicans have accused the Biden administration of relaxing immigration laws, creating a crisis, while the Homeland Security Secretary attributes the surge to poverty, high levels of violence, and lacking asylum system due to the previous administration.
The AstraZeneca vaccine is being suspended across Europe. This comes after several recipients reported dangerous blood clots. The company and international regulators say there is currently no evidence these were caused by the shot. However, 16 countries, including Germany, France, Italy, and Ireland, have stopped distribution. Canada and Britain are continuing to use it at this time. AstraZeneca is expected to apply for authorization in the United States within the next few weeks. The European Medicines Agency will meet tomorrow to review experts' findings on the shot and decide the best plan moving forward.
Last week, we were following the start of the Derek Chauvin trial for the death of George Floyd. Today, we got some updates for you. The city of Minneapolis will pay George Floyd's family a $27 million settlement. $27 million is the largest pretrial settlement in a civil rights wrongful death case in U.S. history. One of the attorneys for the family, L. Chris Stewart, believes the size of the settlement will motivate other municipalities to create changes in their policing or face high charges. The settlement also includes a $500,000 for the South Minneapolis neighborhood that has been blocked by barricades since George Floyd's death. Jury selection for the case in its 4th day. 7 people have already been selected, and opening statements for the case will start no sooner than March 27th.
The Vatican is declaring that the Catholic Church will not bless same-sex unions. The church says, quote, God cannot bless sin. The explanation differentiates people and unions, saying the church welcomes gay people, but argues their marriages are not a part of God's plan. This plan to them represents marriages focused on creating families and raising children. The Vatican says this is, quote, not unjust discrimination, but many LGBTQ Catholics and advocates were disappointed by the statement. This all comes following a debate with the German church, which is pushing to openly discuss the church's teachings of homosexuality.
Now we're shifting to the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic. In a study by Cambridge-based Moderna, some children received their first doses of the Covid-19 vaccine yesterday. The company will be moving forward into phase 2 of their study. The aim is to evaluate the safety and effectiveness of the dose given 28 days apart. Moderna will test about 7,000 participants between the ages of 6 months and 12 years. Teenagers between the ages of 12 and 18 received their first doses of the Moderna vaccine late last year. It was a year ago that Moderna first started testing the vaccine on adults.
The CDC is considering a change to the 6 feet apart rule in schools. A recent study suggests in-person learning may be safe from just 3 feet apart. The study looked at 242 schools here in Massachusetts. It found that with universal mask wearing, there is no difference in infection rates between 3 feet or 6 feet distancing. This change could make the difference for many schools reopening this fall. Some favored online options as they were unable to meet these 6 feet requirements in crowded hallways and classrooms. Additional studies are currently being done, and the CDC is waiting for more data before revising guidelines.
We're looking now to our politics correspondent, Madison Goldberg. She is the story on Biden's first stop on his Help Is Here tour.
And the vote that will determine the next step towards citizenship for Dreamers. Madison?
Thanks, you too. President Biden made the first stop on the administration's Help Is Here tour this week. Biden traveled to a small business in Chester, Pennsylvania that he says will benefit from the new COVID-19 relief bill, known as the American Rescue Package. The bill was signed into law last week, with the first round of $1,400 stimulus checks reaching Americans this weekend. The new legislation also sets aside federal funds for school reopenings, city aid, and vaccine distribution. Democrats intend to promote the bill heavily in the coming months, deeming it one of the most significant anti-poverty proposals in a generation. Kamala Harris and Second Gentleman Douglas Emhoff will complete their leg of the tour out west. And the House of Representatives is set to vote on 2 immigration bills on Thursday. The bills would provide a path to citizenship for millions of undocumented immigrants in the United States. The legislation is specifically aimed to help farm workers and young immigrants living under the Deferred Action Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program. An uphill battle is to be expected in the passage of these bills. And Senate Number 2 Democrat Dick Durbin said that it does not have the necessary support in either the House or the Senate. House Democratic leader Steny Hoyer says this is only the beginning. Hoyer said, quote, "These 2 bills are not the fix, but they are a fix to part of the problem. But we need to pass comprehensive immigration reform, and we're going to do so in the coming months." And the Washington Post has released an internal draft memo from the U.S. Army that reveals the Army initially denied National Guard coverage at the D.C. rally on January 6th, which led to the siege on the Capitol. The U.S. military argued that they should not be required to assist local law enforcement with traffic and crowd control unless more than 100,000 demonstrators were expected on the National Mall. While the Army did wind up approving the mission, the memo illustrates the hesitancy among the top ranks of the Pentagon ahead of the siege. A defense official told CNN that the hesitancy stemmed from a fear of politicizing the military amid former President Donald Trump's accusations of widespread voter fraud. And Charlotte Bennett, one of 7 women to accuse New York Governor Cuomo of sexual harassment, met with investigators from the state attorney general's office for over 4 hours on Monday. Bennett also turned in over 120 pages of records. She alleges that Cuomo asked her a series of inappropriate questions, including details of her prior sexual assault and whether she was interested in dating an older man. Cuomo faces mounting pressure to resign, and state lawmakers have launched an impeachment investigation into the allegations against him. President Biden has not yet called for Cuomo's resignation, though White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said he finds the allegations troubling. We'll continue to follow these stories as they develop. But for now, I'm Madison Goldberg. Back to you, Amog and Danielle.
Thanks, Madison, for the update. Good news for Massachusetts. Next week, the state will move into Phase 4, Step 1 of its reopening plan. This is actually the final phase of the reopening plan, hopefully. Previously closed businesses under tight restrictions are expected to open up and be adjusted over public. Health data continues to go in the right direction. Indoor and outdoor stadiums, arenas, and ballparks can reopen at 12% capacity. Although for Boston, restrictions are being lifted much slower. The city has not committed to moving to the next phase until March 22nd, but will allow businesses that opened in the previous phase to be opened up now. Health experts are still saying that reopening may be moving too fast and could possibly set the state back.
Winthrop students of all ages are returning to the classroom. The town's school committee voted 5-2 in favor of in-person learning. This reopening will not happen in phases like we are seeing here in Boston. Instead, students from elementary to high school are all expected to return in person by April 5th. The town is now waiting for Public Schools Superintendent Lisa Howard. She will have the final vote and must confirm that in-person learning will not violate any state regulations.
The first case of the coronavirus variant that originated in Brazil was found in Massachusetts Tuesday. In late February, a woman in Barnstable County tested positive for the variant. Although it is unclear how the woman contracted this variant, health officials say the way to avoid different variants is the same. Wear a mask, social distance, and stay at home if you feel sick.
As of Tuesday, pre-registered Massachusetts residents are being notified about available COVID-19 vaccine slots. The state developed a system with Google in which any Massachusetts resident can fill out an online form regardless of their eligibility. The resident will then be placed in a virtual waiting room where they receive weekly updates about appointments. Once the resident is notified a slot is available, they have 24 hours to accept the appointment.
The pandemic has been especially challenging for kids in at-risk communities. One gym in Chelsea is working to ensure that these kids are staying healthy and are staying on the right path.
Good Morning Emerson's Angel Salcido has the story in our newest segment, Heart of Boston.
CrossFit is a roller coaster. You get the highs.
One, there you go.
And the lows.
Come on, don't stop.
But in the end, something keeps you coming back.
Laura, no pasó nada.
Jorge Monzon has been through his own roller coaster ride.
I came here with only a couple bucks in my pocket to this country in 2008, and the only thing that kept me sane was fitness.
But a gym membership wasn't always an option.
I could not afford it, even to the YMCA. The janitor, his name is Paul, he let me work out in the gym by giving him $20 under the table and helping him to clean out the gym.
Through his hard work, Jorge co-founded Carter Park CrossFit. He created programs that give kids in at-risk communities an escape through fitness.
You know, seeing my kid Damien, this kid had no guidance, you know, and then we took him in. He's our main coach.
And he's living proof of Carter Park's mission.
There's so many young kids that they don't have the guidance, the knowledge, or the opportunity to find something productive with their time, with their health. And hopefully the Carter Park programs can bring that productivity to their lives.
The Carter Park team works every day towards that mission.
Every day I come in here, I'm happy because I'm creating a change.
And the community is taking notice.
Two of the kids that we coach, their brother and sister, they came in with little cards for us, and it said, "Thank you for being such great coaches to us. You make CrossFit so much fun."
This community is exactly what keeps Jorge coming back.
I'm not gonna be able to help everyone because I don't have superpowers, but my proud moment is to go to bed every day thinking that I did my best to help whoever reached out to me.
In Chelsea, Angel Salcido, Good Morning Emerson.
Thanks, Angel. To learn more about Jorge's mission, visit carterparkprograms.com.
When we come back, it's our very own Carly Bronkema with the latest in the entertainment world. Don't go anywhere.
All right, come back in 10 seconds. Ready, camera one. Camera, get a wide shot of the entire thing, and in 3, 2, 1, take. Tell them cue.
Welcome back to Emerson College. Emerson trails.
Camera 4, get a shot of the players coming across the court.
10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point. As
Camera 2, close upon the person shooting.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away and score this big one.
Camera 1, get a close up, follow them over.
Emerson trails WPI 10 points. 10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point as the team finishes their timeout.
Camera 1, close up on number 33.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away.
Follow the ball, follow the ball.
Hey, we're your roomies, your homies, your new living best.
We live here too.
Thanks. Liz! Do you have any idea what time it is?
It's time.
7. Oh, 7? It would mean a lot to me if you guys watch.
Welcome back to Good Morning Emerson.
Our entertainment correspondent Carly Bronkema has the latest.
Well, Danielle and Amog, everyone's favorite award show happened this weekend. That's right, we're talking about the Kids' Choice Awards. TikTok, wait, we're covering the Grammys instead? But the drama and the slime. All right, well, I guess the defining characteristics of this year's Grammys wasn't the wins, but the snubs. Well, we saw Taylor Swift take the award for Album of the Year. The K-pop phenomenon BTS was missing from the spotlight. Despite having one of the most popular songs and albums this year, they were only nominated for Best Duo or Pop Group Performance, which they lost to Ariana Grande and Lady Gaga. The same applies to The Weeknd, who received no nominations even after a huge year with his hit single, Blinding Lights, and album After Hours. The Weeknd also made headlines last week after saying he wouldn't submit music to the Grammys anymore because of the lack of transparency. Zayn Malik, formerly of One Direction, also skipped out on the Grammys because of racism within the Academy and tweeted, quote, "We need to make sure we are honoring and celebrating creative excellence of all." Beyonce broke the record for most Grammys won by any singer with 28 total. Queen Bee and Megan Thee Stallion made history as the first female artist to win the Best Rap Performance category. Megan also won Best New Artist over singer-songwriter Phoebe Bridgers and internet sensation Doja Cat. Fan favorite Harry Styles took home a Grammy for Best Pop Solo Performance. Lil Baby used his performance slot to protest police brutality. Activist Tamika Mallory gave a plea for support during the performance of The Bigger Picture. In other news, on Friday, Page Six reported that Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez were breaking up and calling off their engagement. However, in an interaction with paparazzi yesterday, A-Rod said he was not single. J-Lo also posted a video compilation of moments from her performances that included headlines about the supposed split. The video, which was posted on Instagram, ended with Lopez saying, quote, "You're dumb." The couple issued a joint statement on Saturday saying, quote, "We are working on things." Basically, no one knows if the famous couple is still together or not, but we will keep you updated as we get more information. That's all from me. I'll have more next week for you. But now it's back to Amog and Danielle.
Thanks so much, Carly. Also this week, the Academy released their list of nominations for the 93rd Academy Awards.
The show is already making history. 70 women were nominated for 76 awards, which is a record for one year. The Oscars were delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but will be held now, Sunday, April 25th.
Award shows aren't the only thing that are looking different this year as a result of the pandemic. As we know it, here at Emerson, there's an entirely remote semester option where Emerson students can learn from anywhere in the world.
That's right. In our new segment, Campus Connect, Good Morning Emerson's Maria Sato talks to one marketing student taking her classes from the opposite side of the globe.
So today we're joined by Zayn. And how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Where are you joining us from?
I'm in Kuwait. I'm from here and I've lived here my whole life until college. So I'm back here living with my family.
So Zayn, can you tell us more on what your day-to-day life looks like?
So I wake up a little later than I normally would, but I do freelance graphic design and I also have a store. So I always have so much on my to-do list every day with school as well. I tend to keep my mornings for any commissions that I have, like graphic design for any of my clients, and then I'll have classes all day. And in between the classes, I'll just do any work like for my graphic design, for my store, whatever, or do any homework. So basically my day consists of a lot of work, but I mean, it's fun, like I enjoy it. I always like doing art and sketching and drawing, and I would do that for hours a day. Like even my back started hurting from how much I would just like be drawing all the time. So I just decided to make something more out of it. It felt more fulfilling when I shared it with friends. I just wanted to spread some positivity, and it helped me feel better as well. It gave me a sense of purpose, you know?
That's great. Like sharing positivity really is important during this quarantine and just this pandemic. I think that's a great segue to how your country is adapting to the pandemic and how you're coping with that too.
Kuwait has actually been really good. They went into full lockdown as soon as everything started happening. So mid-March, full lockdown, the airports were closed, everything was closed. I was able to come home because they were actually sending government flights to all the states where there were students. Hopefully I'll be back by fall. I was actually supposed to go back this semester, but I panicked and canceled my flight 2 days before and decided to stay. So, but yeah, in fall, I do want to go back. It'll be my last year.
Thank you so much, Same, for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on campus.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Now, when we come back, we have an interview with Gabe Goodman.
Stay with us. Thank you so much, Maria. This morning, we're virtually joined by our musical guest all the way out in sunny LA, Gabe Goodman.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Gabe.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
So, Gabe, I looked at your Twitter and I looked at your Spotify, and you describe your music as sensitive. So I want to ask you just a little bit about your sound and why you call it sensitive.
I feel like the sensitive title is really just, I think when people are singing kind of quietly and sad, and they have a guitar, especially if it's like an acoustic guitar, I feel like people sort of see that as like sensitive, or I feel like the word heartfelt is used a lot. There's a lot of these terms that I feel like that's signify to people that you're about to hear something that's maybe a little bit sad and sensitive. So that's kind of where that comes from.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely when I was listening to your song, I definitely heard a lot of yourself in it.
Yeah, for sure. It's very emotional. And you've touched on it a little bit, but who or what inspires you to create music?
Whether it's a conversation with a friend that strikes me in a particular way, or something very heavy happens to me and I feel like I need to find a way to process it or write about it or get an idea out that I can't really say to people, I feel like that's kind of that's the most inspiring thing to me, where I feel like songwriting can be the most exciting and like can really resonate, I think, with me, at least in terms of the process, is thinking about it in this way of like, I know that I couldn't really probably say this to a friend, and that I maybe don't have the words or I'm not ready to, but maybe if I can find a way to express it as a song or with lyrics, I can communicate it finally.
On that same vein, your new song, When I Say That I Love You, just came out this last Friday. So through that song, what are you trying to express?
Everybody says I love you to someone, ideally at some point in their life. But when you say it, everybody brings their own experiences and brings their own. It means something very different when every individual person says it. So when I say it, it might mean something very different than when you say it, or when a friend of mine says it, or when my mother says it, or whatever. Everybody brings their trauma or their positive experiences, or all these different things that they've experienced when they say that to someone. And so I was just trying to think to myself, what does it actually mean when I say it?
Right. Well, we've been loving your newest song, and so we have to ask, do you have any new projects that you're working on or new songs coming out in the future?
I do. I'm working on a lot of music, and there's definitely a lot more coming this year. More songs in mind, other stuff that I've been producing and working on that I'm excited about. But yeah, lots more music coming this year, which is very exciting.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Gabe.
Thanks, guys.
And now, singing his latest single, When I Say That I Love You, Gabe Goodman.
Sitting in the park, I had a few ideas. could get ourselves out of here. And the wheels start spinning like they're stuck in the mud, waiting to be saved by your touch. In a hotel with the deadbolt locked, in the diary that I keep in a Word doc, where the wheels start spinning and zoom away. I dim the lights, command us and save, but don't you forget who loves you. I wonder when I say that I love you, do you have any idea what I mean? Honesty can be endearing, but I prefer to have you near me. When the wheels start spinning like they're stuck in the mud, waiting to be saved by your touch. Don't you forget who loves you. I wonder when I say that I love you, do you have any idea what I mean? Don't you forget who loves you. I wonder when I say that I love you, do you have any idea what I mean?
That was a beautiful song and great performance, Gabe. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
You can listen to Gabe's new song anywhere you get your music.
After that lovely tune, it's just about time for our favorite segment here on Good Morning Emerson.
There's a lot going on in the world, so we like to take this time to share our favorite happy stories that moved us this week.
Aw. A Massachusetts vaccination site got a surprise concert this past weekend. The world-renowned cellist Yo-Yo Ma serenaded the waiting room at a Berkshire Community College in Pittsfield, Massachusetts during the 15-minute observation period after his second dose. Residents in the room were moved to tears as Yo-Yo Ma played from a safe distance. The 18-time Grammy Award winner said, quote, "In these days of anxiety, I wanted to find a way to share some of that music that gives me comfort."
If you are heading out for a night stroll, be sure to look up at the sky. You may be surprised with what you'll see. There are 3 celestial highlights that you won't want to miss this month. The Ursa Major can usually be seen through the winter, but the 7 aligned stars are back and visible for spring. Not only that, but this Friday, the moon and Mars will be meeting up. If you take a look at the sky, you'll see a waxing crescent moon in conjunction with Mars. And something to keep in mind for next week. On March 28th, the supermoon will appear low in the sky. Supermoons have a rich orange color and appear extremely large. As it keeps getting warmer, take the opportunity to get outside and enjoy some of these views this month. I know I will be. What about you, Amog?
I love going out and looking at the stars. Me and my family actually do that all the time during the summer. Just look up. It's great.
That's amazing.
So today's actually St. Patrick's Day.
That's right. Are you doing anything to celebrate?
Nothing special. I might go to the DH and get some like cornbread and ham, you know, some Irish food, yeah. So a special thing GME is doing is make sure to share your favorite St. Patty's Day outfit at #WakeUpWithUs.
And we'll be reposting the favorite on our social media.
I'm Amog Matthews.
And I'm Danielle Finezza. Have an amazing day, and be sure to catch our sports segment on YouTube. We'll see you next Wednesday at 9 a.m.